Welcome to episode number 73 of Hoop Talk Fanatics. I'm here with the Imman talking about the 2024-25 Raptors schedule, what her thoughts are on the NBA Cup group play, and the team as a whole. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So my first question is, what are your overall thoughts on how the season, the schedule is?
Honestly, I think from a Raptors fan perspective, it is a really challenging start. It was Kirthika of TSN who put out a stat that the Raptors actually have the hardest strength of schedule up until the NBA Cup. So they're going to get a really big test right out the gate for a team that's young and learning and trying to figure out what their direction is. It's going to be a big test like right away.
What game are you most looking forward to in the first five games?
Um, Probably the game that honestly, probably opening night. I just want to see the guys out there. I think they play against the Cavs on opening night. That'll be really big. Right out the gate, they have some really tough matchups. They'll play the Sixers in the second game, which would be a really big test for them, especially, the size that the Sixers have, adding, Usele, who Canadians know for having been a huge reason why Canada didn't get a medal at the Olympics. But honestly, I just want to see opening night. I want to see how this team goes out there and plays. And probably in the early season, the first team that they have a real shot against is the Charlotte Hornets. So that will be one. And I think it'll be an away game. So that'll be a tough test there as well.
What are your thoughts on the first meeting of the season against the Sixers on October 25th?
Yeah, it'll be really early on in the season for the team. I think the Sixers, of course, have like lots of new pieces. They got a really big new piece to integrate there in Paul George. So it'll be exciting to get a first glimpse of what that team is looking like. For the Raptors, I think they'll just be outmatched. I don't know that they'll have. I don't think they have anything in terms of what it takes to beat a Sixers team right now. I don't think that that's sort of their competition. So I think more so it's just watching how the Sixers look, adding in Paul George and how that's gelling.
My next question is, what are your thoughts on the group play tournament and how far do you think the Raptors can go?
That's a good question because like it's confusing. I think that like most people at the start of last season wouldn't have had the Pacers and the Lakers as the two teams there at the end. And they're sort of there for different reasons. You can say that it being early on in the season, you have AD still has his legs, LeBron still has his legs, and they can go out there. So it benefits some of the older teams. Not to say AD is old, but LeBron certainly is. But then you also, on the flip side, have a team like the Pacers, who are a surprise team, come out of nowhere and really get to showcase their talent. The Raptors, of course, would want to sort of double on what the Pacers have done, or just sort of follow their lead there and be that young and surprising team. I don't know that they're there right now. Just I don't think they have the depth that the Pacers has. So I don't think they can surprise teams in that way. I also don't think they have the shooting that the Pacers had.
Hmm.
But the Pacers were really able to get inside. That's where they did most of their damage. So I think the Raptors are going to probably try to replicate some of those items and see if they can be a better defensive version, but surprise teams on the offensive end in the way that the Pacers did there last year.
What do you think about the rookies coming into the this upcoming season for the Raptors?
Yeah, the Raptors have a lot of rookies coming into this year. It's not touted as it wasn't a highly touted draft, but the Raptors not only doubled but tripled in on it and have a bunch of now new rookies coming in. I think because there aren't a lot of veterans on the team and it's just very much a young team, and we're trying to see how Scotty and how RJ and how quickly can lead these young guys coming in. It'll be interesting to see because they'll get a lot of playing time. This isn't a team where they're going to have to ride the bench for a lot. The team, well, doesn't really have a bench, so they need those guys off the bench to really put up. So I expect troubles in the beginning. I mean, they are rookies, but I think they'll be able to play through it just because they are on a young team without any real expectations. And the whole point of the season is development and to see how you can integrate your rookies into building your core for the future.
What is your prediction of how the Raptors and the division as a whole will play out?
Yeah, I think the division, I mean, the Atlantic division is one of the best in the league. You have the Celtics, of course, the reigning NBA champs, the Sixers, who I think adding Paul George I'm excited to see what that team looks like. And then the Knicks adding in Mikal Bridges, I mean, they're a really fun team. And then you kind of have the Raptors and the Nets just there. And so I think that there are three really great teams, and I think there are two teams clearly at the bottom in the Raptors and the Nets. So how it shakes out, I think you have to have the champs there at the top. And then it really depends on health because in terms of picking between the Sixers and the Knicks, I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks finish above the Sixers. And of course, I wouldn't be surprised if the Sixers finish there above the Knicks. I think health is going to matter a lot, although the Knicks do have a ton of depth right now. And so maybe they edge out on that one, but I think, the Sixers have the best player and can have the two best players. So yeah, it'll be really interesting. I think the Raptors probably are at the bottom, but in terms of focusing in on the schedule, I think the schedule determines the direction the Raptors, well, they've picked a direction, but I think the early on schedule just shows where the Raptors are in terms of the league. So I think by November, we should have a really good grasp on exactly where this team places and what the rest of the season really holds.
It should be a great time in the next couple of months. And thank you so much for coming on to talk Raptors. And I'll definitely have you back on to recap a game sometime.
Sounds great. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.